many of us wake up and instantly click on the kettle to make a well-needed morning coffee. A stressful situation or a long day can also call for a caffeine fix, with that feeling of needing a coffee kicking in. However, a herbal expert has warned that a coffee is not what our brain actually needs and instead suggests we should ditch the caffeinated beverage in order to wind down properly. Herbalist and founder of Organic Olivia, Olivia Amitrano, suggests that drinking caffeine can actually be harmful for those experiencing already stressful situations or suffering with ongoing health issues. The herbal guru said coffee consumption can be like pouring gasoline on a fire. The reason for this is due to caffeine directly relating to high levels of stress, which can, of course, lead to a contradictory feeling compared to what many are after when sipping on a coffee, as writes the Mirror. Olivia said, caffeine is a stimulant, so it creates neural excitation in the brain. And while this may sound fun, the pituitary gland actually perceives this excitation as an emergency and stimulates the adrenal glands to release stress hormones adrenaline and cortisol. For many of us, we're already experiencing daily, chronic stressors that cause us to release enough of these hormones, and when you're pushed over the edge of the stress hormone bucket, this can result in anxiety, weight gain, poor sleep, and more. Caffeine can also increase our estrogen and blood sugar levels, which can be problematic for those with hormone imbalances like PCOS, endometriosis and even plain old PMS. This is why cutting caffeine can be an important first step for anyone struggling with hormones and mood, especially if estrogen dominance is present. Estrogen dominance is associated with premenstrual syndrome, heavy periods, fibrocystic breasts, and even certain breast cancers. She added, caffeine and stress both elevate cortisol levels, so for those of us already experiencing stressful situations or health issues, it can be like pouring gasoline on a fire. Studies have shown that being a high consumer of caffeine is a direct predictor of high levels of stress, which can feel counterintuitive to those of us looking for a much-needed mood boost from a cup of coffee when we're struggling. While we may feel a lift at first, the ensuing cascade of stress hormone release only contributes to higher scores of anxiety and even depression in the long run. However, Olivia went on to warn that while giving up one of the nation's favorite beverages is a great start when trying to battle stress, it is not always easy. She explained that giving up coffee may lead to feeling of withdrawal, lasting for as many as 30 days after quitting, as caffeine, as a stimulant, temporarily boosts our dopamine levels, giving us a quick hit of pleasure each time we consume it. That lethargic, melancholic feeling before you've had your morning cup isn't actually your normal baseline state, it's a state of withdrawal, which we all experience each morning before getting our fix. She said, it's important to remember this is a drug, as it stimulates the central nervous system. So without it, you can feel unstimulated, unmotivated, a nagging air of anhedonia, even depressed. That is, until your dopamine levels return to baseline and suddenly, everything feels good again, without the need of an external substance, and with no crash or withdrawal, just clean, consistent contentment. This is because our pain and pleasure scales function like a seesaw. Every time we push that pleasure button with caffeine or another dopamine-releasing substance or activity, our brain has to rebound by upping our sense of pain and displeasure, just as hard in the opposite direction. However, the herbalist provided some examples of ways to help relieve stress without caffeine in your life. This includes generating more sustainable hormones such as serotonin, oxytocin, acts of kindness, and endorphins through exercise, human connection and having fun that's not tied to a goal or achievement. She said, "That's how you get the good brain chemicals back in order. We chatted about dopamine and quitting substance, caffeine and beyond, with expert drive." And Olympic on What's the Juice podcast, Olivia went on to lay out the highs and lows of ditching the substance. Join the Daily Records WhatsApp community here and get the latest news sent straight to your messages. On day 1, extremely tired, puffy eyes, scattered words, brain fog, zero productivity. Days 2 to 7, it's be stressful to look at a screen, your eyes can hurt, you'll want to sleep or relax. You could experience intense muscle aches or headaches, low mood and motivation. On days 7 to 14, you should want to be more social or exercise more in order to get your dopamine fix. Your brain is beginning to compensate but fatigue is still present, however sleep is deeper and more restful. From days 14 to 21 you'll find sleep has never been better, anxiety is lessened and for women, PMS may improve. Fatigue is lifting each day and you should be able to focus on singular tasks for longer instead of switching in between many. On days 21 to 30 you could find you've a higher libido, clearer eyes, more hydrated skin, you are thinking more clearly. Energy levels may not be 100% yet, but each day you'll notice benefits and you'll be more present in general.